What would be a category that you would recommend new sellers selling on Walmart?
A lot of the toys actually don't need ungated. Maybe like the big brands, Disney, Lego, but like there is
Okay.
a lot of toys that fall in the cracks. Otherwise, I mean, I would just focus on whatever you can, whether that's, maybe I've been seeing a lot of good like maybe laundry detergents or
Mhm.
like home and household stuff at Ollie's that you can flip pretty easily. Like I don't think you need ungated for. Yeah, off the top of my head, I think like those two are probably going to be the easiest, just because Walmarts are everywhere, and Ollie's seem to be pretty prevalent.
During my selling journey, despite the platform, I've had instances of really tumultuous situations like inauthenticity violations. I've had brands that got gated, and I've had mass amount of units where they had to send it back, and a really stressful situation. So, what would you say is probably your number one most tumultuous or stressful time that you've had selling on a Walmart?
I'm probably that first stretch where I couldn't get my money out, that payment hold. But otherwise, for like products, I mean, it really hasn't been that bad as far as like having to get an entire SKU removed or something. I think the most, like the first time I've ever sent something in and then had it like locked down on me was maybe the Miss Rachel dolls. I think I sent in like 80 or 90 of them, and then they partnered with Walmart, and so third-party
Uh,
sellers can't be on that anymore.
on Amazon, there's been a plethora of toys and brands getting hard gated, especially with Q4 upcoming. I always thought that brands were trying to stay away from selling on Amazon because they feel like if customers buy on their website, it creates this deeper connection and there's some brand trust and whatnot. And if they sell on Amazon, they kind of lose that connection with the consumer. You've been seeing more and more of that on Walmart as well. To what extent have you been seeing it on Walmart this year?
I've definitely seen a few emails about beauty brands. But as far as like something that's directly affected me, like out of all the hard gates, like I've probably only noticed like the one, like I mentioned. It definitely raises the question though, like the longevity of some of the items or the risk factors. It definitely seems like 2, 3 years ago, it was pretty low risk because you weren't seeing Section 3s, you weren't getting hard gated on a lot of things. And as of recently, it's definitely been sort of a perspective shift on, okay, like ecom is forever for sure, but like, and OA is probably never going to die, obviously. But being a little bit more risk adverse there is going to be an issue a lot for new sellers.
I do want to ask, as it pertains to merchant fulfilling and sending it to Walmart fulfillment centers. Um, on Amazon, you can send it into the Walmart fulfillment center and it'll ship at a higher price. With Walmart, do you at least? I know the buy box rotation doesn't really exist; it's still the lowest selling price. But when you send in an X amount of units to a WFS, do you see a higher number of sales per day as opposed to if you were from the sell them merchant fulfilled?
So I'm probably like the worst person to ask that, just because I really dislike FBM. I'm lazy, whatever. So I send everything WFS. I would say that it does sell better, and you can get the buy box slightly higher than a seller fulfilled person.
Hmm.
But as far as like the exact numbers, like
So what? So sending it, since you have a lot of experience sending it to the fulfillment centers, what have been key issues sending it there? Despite there's obviously benefits. I'm sure you get higher sales velocity sending it to the fulfillment center. But what have been some issues you faced?
obviously like sell through is a huge issue, and if you're not watching it, like it'll really bite you. So usually I try to work with like 60 or 90-day storage fees when I'm sourcing a product, and I just
Okay.
assume it's going to take a little bit of time to sell.
Okay.
Um, Otherwise, I've been kind of in the niche enough that if I see something on sale for whatever price, I can usually guess pretty accurately how well it's going to sell, or that I'm okay with sitting it for like that 90-day time frame. Sell through is probably like the biggest concern, really. And then also watching your WFS fees. I've had times where me and my buddy have been sitting down and just going through our WFS fees for the same items. And for instance, like there was a Nerf gun, he was getting charged like $40 for WFS, and I was maybe like 7, and so he had to go through and
Oh
get
wow.
reimbursed for all that.
Dang. So there was a disparity between y'all two. I thought maybe they were just giving him a crazy shipping fee. I have my virtual assistants who will source for me, but more importantly, they save me a lot of time with admin stuff. Like they'll input the cost of goods onto Sellerboard. I use Sellerboard for most of my bookkeeping stuff. But as far as Walmart goes, what was that? What was that software that you said you used?
It was
Bookkeeping.
just Repricer, I think. I use an actual, so I have an admin, and we do like everything spreadsheet based.
Okay.
I think there's Profit Cyclops, which is one I'm testing, and it does seem pretty good as of right now. But a lot of these tools you got to be careful with, just because they're like, Walmart seems super stingy with the data they give and
Right.
the frequency of it. So there's a lot of
What sucks is like seller. Are you familiar with Seller Board? So I don't even you can't even integrate Seller Board with Walmart. So what's annoying is I feel bad. I mean, I don't feel bad, but my virtual assistant has to input them manually one by one, and I don't do that many SKUs anyway, so it's not a big deal to him. But it's surprises me that Seller Board doesn't have Walmart integration yet. So I was hoping maybe you had so all the SKUs that you sell, you just have your admin essentially record all that information. Yeah.
Profit Cyclops. That is probably the closest fix to the solution.
Okay.
Or fix to the problem or whatever. It's like, I think it might be $1.99 first month and $40 after.
Okay.
I would definitely check that out for anyone that needs something like that. But like I said, just in case it misses anything, I would at least double check once your item sells at WFS or whatever. Like, check the fees as far as commission or WFS goes, because both change pretty frequently.
Leads generation virtual assistant. It's really the ones that are really good taking care of those nuanced things in a business that really are beneficial. So that's awesome that you have it's a system of VAs that take care of that, because that truly is a time saver.
Like leads, and leads are like pretty easy to come up with if you at least can sit down and stay consistent searching. But yeah, like, and maybe the admin work on Amazon isn't nearly as intense as Walmart, but like with Walmart, you're gonna have to do stuff every night probably, just because it seems like every night they're gonna throw a dart at a board and that item's getting unpublished, whether it's for pricing or some sort of random error. One of the biggest mistakes when getting on like online jobs.ph is when it's so funny. You make your posting, you're like Amazon sourcing, whatever, and you get all like thousands of applications probably, and like you vet through all of them, and asking like the simplest questions is like, okay, no one knows.
No one knows, despite their 8 years of selling. In 2025, do you think Walmart will still be a lucrative business to new sellers?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get past the caveats of payment holds and whatever, definitely. Obviously, it's getting less profitable the more sellers get on, and you just got to get your edge and niche down on whatever that is.
Okay. Okay. Knowing all the information that you know now, and I know you kind of alluded to it earlier, do you think someone who just starts selling in a Walmart, they can at least still start with $1,000?
Yeah, I mean, if you get on at the right time, definitely. But like, sell through is a huge issue, and even if you got a low price point on all your items, that 1,000 could be really hard to work with. It's so much harder now to like do this with a low budget when you got no cost alternatives, maybe like TikTok Shop, or like, if you're okay with being behind a camera, like I'd do that first.
TikTok Shop affiliate and all that is getting lucrative, and there's so many different ways and platforms to make money now in 2025 coming up. Why sell yourself short? Some sort of account where you're going to be just talking and explaining about Walmart selling, Amazon selling, and follow people that you can follow their info and tips, and that would definitely help exponentially. That rather than just doing it on your own and finding out how to do things the hard way. It always been. I didn't realize when I first started selling period on online platforms that there was such a huge community of online sellers. Like, again, like we come from sneakers and sneaker botting. There was a huge community with that, right? So when I first started selling on Amazon, I had to kind of look for it. I didn't know it existed, And someone who's watching this who hasn't sold on neither Walmart or Amazon or Walmart, there's huge communities for both of those selling platforms. So just make an account with the full purpose of just posting Walmart or Amazon or online selling information.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and there's definitely something too, like, even if you're just documenting the journey, right? Like, a lot of times people are thinking like you're posting to flex or whatever, but like when I got on TikTok and was like doing the sneaker botting stuff, like, even though a lot of the time I was failing miserably, but like it did connect me with a lot of good people, and the guy that mentored me for Walmart. So kind of crazy what can happen.